We apologize we apologize for the technical difficulties that just ensued recently. Breakfast in America, lunch in England, tea time in India, and sunset in Malaysia. Good evening and welcome to the Kuala Lumpur Convention Center for the National Wire Services 17th General Election Townhall Debate. I am Cynically Clash, the moderator of tonight's debate. An exciting night ahead for us all. 4 months in absolute monarchy, and we return for democracy. The leaders deliberate while the people choose. Without further ado, here are the candidates. From left to right, Mr. Draxmiller, representative for Pakatan Tanayar. Next, Mr. G.D. Wendin, representative for Barisan Rakyat Malaysia, who will replace Mr. Haikal J. Landerio. And finally, Mr. Yao School, Prime Minister candidate for Party Democratic Malaysia. So how this will work is that in every round of debate, candidates will be given a topic relevant to the current political climate. Each candidate have exactly 180 seconds, or 3 minutes, to present their argument. At the end of each round, rebuttals are open to be delivered, or, as we call it, open discussion, limited to only 80 seconds for all representatives to deliberate. The debate will not just be about their policies, but competence. Each representative will be given 3 questions regarding themselves and their party, and will be given 300 seconds or 5 minutes to answer it. The representatives do not know what the question will be, so we can measure how will they respond to it. Now, firstly, we'll have to apologize for the recent technical difficulties. We just noticed it recently, but nonetheless, we'll continue. So firstly, uh, for our first course, please introduce yourself and the party you are representing. This means opening statement. We'll start from uh, Mr. Draxmiller, representative for Pakatan Tanah Air. Now let me just set my timer here. So, Mr. Draxmiller, 60 seconds, 1 minute, you may speak.
Greetings, I am Rex_Myler, representing for Pakatan Tanah. As you know, I will be represent and I will be changed I will be helping unconfront because unconfront can come today. And also my positions on Pakatan Tanah is being a deputy minister of, if we are being a government, I will be the deputy minister. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Draxmiller. Now we'll go on to Mr. G.D. Wendin. Mr. G.D. Wendin, all the same, 1 minute, you may speak.
Greetings, Malaysia. I am Judy Wendin, your Deputy Prime Minister candidate for BRM. I am here because I will be replacing Haikal J. Landrew for his absence, as he is facing some problems in real life. Nonetheless, I will be representing Barisan Rakyat Malaysia for this debate. Thank you.
All right, very short statement there, but nonetheless, we'll continue. Mr. Yao School, all the same, 60 minutes. Oh, sorry, 60 seconds. You may speak.
Yeah, thank you, Clash. Hello everyone. Hello Malaysians. I am Yao. I am the party leader for the Party Democratic Malaysia. I'm also the Shadow Minister of Finance and the Shadow Minister of Home Affairs for Party Democratic Malaysia. I am also, lastly, the Prime Minister candidate for Party Democratic Malaysia. The Democratic Party of Malaysia represents values of the future. We are a progressive party that hopes to improve Malaysia upon its further state and look long term for the future growth of Malaysia, whether it be internally, internationally, or both. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Yao. Now let us go on to the main course, the questions. Now, the first question will be, what are the core issues in Malaysia right now? And what are your solutions to it? So, what this means is that the current issues in Malaysia and candidates will have to answer what are their solutions to it and do they acknowledge the issues of it. So for for this time, it will be 3 minutes or 180 seconds, starting from Mr. Yao. Mr. Yao, Mr. Yao, 3 minutes, 180 seconds.
Okay,
You may
so
speak.
basically, I think some of the core issues in Malaysia as of date, some of which is the relevancy of legislation, because in many areas of governance, including home affairs, including finance, including the armed forces or the Ministry of Defense, I think there's legislation that is irrelevant and in some areas unproportionate to what it's supposed to be used. In other words, it is somewhat outdated. Therefore, I believe that the next government, which PDM will do, will have to reform and amend some of these legislation. This is to ensure that legislation remains relevant and remains up to the times. Next, some of the other issues we have is in the transportation sector, in which that there is a relative inactivity in transportation companies, especially bus companies, because there's not a lot of buses in games and bandars. Although there are many taxis, but most of these are player-operated taxis, which do not have high enough standards that are expected in the Ministry of Transportation. Next, we also have the Ministry of Defense. I think that in previous terms, there's not been much progress in the Ministry of Defense. I'm not saying that there's no progress in the Ministry of Defense. What I'm trying to say is that I believe that the government and the Ministry of Defense should bond together more and form closer ties as expected, which what
90
PDM
seconds.
will do under their government. Yes, that is pretty much all I have. I believe that PDM will have plans to accomplish all of the issues, accomplish and solve the issues that I have aforementioned. Thank you, Clash.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Yao. So now let's go on to Mr. GD Wendin. So Mr. GD Wendin, all the same, 180 seconds, 3 minutes. You may speak.
Okay, so there are several issues that need to be addressed urgently in Malaysia. These include the inactivity of some ministries and core institutions. There are a few things I would like to highlight. Some of them is the Ministry of Youth and Sports. As we can see from previous terms, not much has been done by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, since people think they are mostly a useless ministry. But here, I don't think the youth and sports is can be a bit useless. It's not useless, but it's how we use them as a whole. So as BRM is the so we are probably so we are going to probably reform MOIS as a whole and try bringing new activities. So next we got the Ministry of Finance, where can see that they are mostly in tendering business registrations. So we feel like there's more than tendering business registrations, such as reactivating the DOSM, the Department of Statistics Malaysia. What should they? But the main issue is what should they statistics? What should they document if there is nothing to document on it? And lastly, I would to highlight that the Ministry of Transport, since the collapse of SPAD or SPAT, the ministry has been since going downhill. So without proper administration,
60 seconds, Mr. Wendin.
okay, that's all for me. And
Let's go on to Mr. Drax Miller. Mr. Drax Miller, all the same. 3 minutes, 180 seconds starting now. You may speak.
All right. So the core issue of Malaysia is inactivity of activity, lack of inactivity personnel. Like Malaysian forces, they have many inactivity personnel, as I know. So what, and also police. So which meaning that there's many inactivity in Malaysians, like from yacht of sport and the others, because of they are busy on real life or whatever. So as for of now, I will be focusing focusing on activity like okay, so our party solution is Pakatan Tanah Air solution is make more activity like making activity like youth of sport and the others. Second, we will make a role play on bandar, like more like that. So, and lastly, be helping. Lastly, to increase the activity members of the Malaysian Armed Forces to helping them for this, and also sorry, also and also the transportations Ministry of Transportations, because they need the rules of transport, like for example like rules whatever, because they need, sorry, uh because they have many reckless
60
driver
seconds,
if
Mr.
we do.
Drax.
Sorry.
60 seconds.
Right, so thank you, and that's all for me.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Drax Miller. So now let's go on to the next question. Oh, my apologies. As promised, 80 seconds for open discussion. Let me just set the timer here. So 108. So 80 seconds. That means 1 minute and 20 seconds. So everyone, you may speak freely and discuss.
Okay, okay, I guess I'll start. I'd like to thank the other two candidates from BRM and PTA. I'd like to thank them for their introductory speech of sorts. However, I think that some of them they have outlined issues that aren't as significant in Malaysia to the state. For example, if you have notes, I think PTA talks a lot about armed forces and our police and talks about inactivity, proposing a solution which is to increase activities. I'm just going to say that from my experience in the Malaysian police, that is not a viable solution to solving such a problem. Because if you just increase the amount of activities, that does not mean that you're going to increase the amount of people that participate in these activities. So therefore, I asked the representative for Pakatan Tanah Air, what solution do you actually have that actually works and is most likely going to work?
Sorry, could you
Everyone,
repeat that?
you may debate.
Could you repeat it again?
Okay, I will repeat it again. Okay, if you want me to. Okay, I recommend you listen next time. So basically,
15 seconds.
what I am asking you is that your solution to inactivity in the armed forces and police, it is not effective. Do you have any other ones that might be effective?
Time's up, time's up, time's up. No more open discussion. So may I remind all representatives that in this particular section of open discussion, you may speak freely, you may debate, you may interrupt each other. So this is the only time you may debate, you may interrupt. It's like any normal discussion. So keep that in mind. So for the third question, uh, second question. What will be the main objective of your party if your party is elected as government? So let's start from Mr. Drax. All the same, 180 seconds, 3 minutes. You may speak.
All right, so yeah, the main objectives of the objective of our party is, if we are being elected to be a government, is we are focusing on suara rakyat, because why suara rakyat is very important to everyone. Second, we are prioritizing development, so we will establish a new federal ministry like that will be overlook the development of MYS. We may not have final say on what happens physically development of MYS, but we will ensure the people ideas wish heard often by the developer. And lastly, Malaysian first. Throughout history, several leaders have held positions within our government and foreign governments, whether whether recognized by MYS or not. This shows that they they did not prioritize the people of Malaysia. Malaysia. PTA will ensure only through MYS Malaysia serve its people. Thank you. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Drax. So now let's go on to Mr. Wendin. So all the same, 3 minutes, 180 seconds. You may speak now.
As per our election slogan, this term BM plans to put the people first, as they are the main thing needed to keep progressing Malaysia, as Malaysians are one of the key source of BRM's progression. In our manifesto, one of our main objective is to provide more job opportunities after the absolute monarchy done 3 months ago. For the duration of 3 months, most ministries and departments are starting to go downhill, meaning their activity is starting to get slowly decreasing. So this is one of our main objectives, to encourage the public to not to participate, into joining governmental positions in order to help Malaysia being a progressive nation. Thus, this will benefit both the state and the people of the state. So, one of our other main objectives are to let the public, to give awareness, not awareness, more like exposure to Malaysian politics, as most Malaysians are unfamiliar with Malaysian politics or politics as itself. They don't understand how the parliament works. What is the functions of the member of parliament, the functions of a government basically. We plan to introduce them with a not weekly, but whole classes related to politics. Yes. So we can increase the competitiveness and in the political arena. So it means we can see more new faces in the following general elections. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wendin. So next up is Mr. Yao. All the same, 3 minutes, 180 seconds. You may speak.
Thank you, Mr. Clash, and thank you to the other candidates who have spoken thus far. PDM, I believe that the other two candidates have talked a bit too specifically about their plans because they only care about the specifics and only care about certain ministry instead of overall growth and development of Malaysia as a whole. So for us, for PDM, our general objective is to implement a bunch of pilot initiatives, including in our as mentioned in our manifesto, My Transport X, Jam Active, BizConnect, Trade.my, and Media Academy. All of these are in addition to other pilot initiatives such as Hello, Yang Performance. But all of these are initiatives that, as PDM, we will implement as government, because as of right now, we believe that this is the best way in order to bring back activity to the ministries and activity back to the people, because all of these programs benefit the people in one way or another. For example, in terms of our veterans department for Malaysian Armed Forces, this allows our veterans to benefit because they can receive for benefits from participation, and for example, for some of our other initiatives such as BizConnect, businesses in Malaysia can receive benefits and can recruit from the Malaysian populace, and in turn, the Malaysian populace can understand their businesses operating in Malaysia, and they can join and get jobs in Malaysia, which allow them to become further integrated into our community, allowing our community to grow more than it has been so far. Thank you, Clash.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yao. So now we'll go on to open discussion. 80 seconds, as always, everyone. You may debate, you may interrupt, you may deliberate. So, 1 minute, 20 seconds. You may speak now.
I guess no one is going to speak because they do not know what debate is about and do not know what they're talking about. So hello everyone, I am the candidate for PDM. As you all know, I would just like to point out some things that I've noticed with other candidates because they don't
Mr.
seem
Yao,
to.
Mr. Yao,
Yes, what?
could you briefly re-explain what is the main purpose of the veterans program?
No, you should have listened. No. So I'll go on with what I was about to say before you rudely interrupted me. So first of all, I think BRM they have mentioned a lot about the Ministry of Youth and um, Ministry of
40
Youth and
seconds.
Sports. Why do you focus so much on youth and sports, the Ministry of Youth and Sports? Why? Because there's a lot of other ministries in Malaysia that has far more and a larger importance in Malaysia. For example, the Ministry of Home Affairs, they are responsible for the police. The Ministry of Defense, they're responsible for our armed forces, the defense of our country, and other industries. For example, the Ministry of Finance, responsible for all of commerce within Malaysia. The Ministry of Transport, responsible
10
for all
seconds.
transportation companies in Malaysia. And you think that the Ministry of Youth and Services is important instead of all of those. Is that what you're saying? Because I've heard that from what you've said. That is what you're implying because you put
Okay, Mr.
Ministry
Yao.
of Youth and Sports first, and
We
that
can
is all
cease
that
now.
you're saying so far.
Mr.
No,
Yao.
I am not done, okay? Let me
Mr.
finish, okay,
Yao,
Clash?
time is up.
Okay.
I remind you that time is up. Thank you. So now, I believe, so for now, open discussion is done. 80 seconds is up. So please understand that. So now, let us go on to the third question. So, what are the weaknesses of other parties compared to yours? Do you think they are worth the vote of the people? So, as always, 3 minutes. So, Mr. Yao, as always, 180
Sorry,
seconds. You may speak.
can you please repeat the question? I can't hear you.
Okay. Let me repeat that. What are the weaknesses of other parties compared to yours? Do you think they
Okay.
are worth the vote of the people? Thank you. 108
Okay.
3 minutes.
So I don't like the word that Clash used there. I think that I think disadvantages might be a better word to use, or shortfalls. But anyways, I think that many parties, I think one of the large part of both parties, that they are relatively unexperienced in the field of politics because PDM has been here since the 8th general election. We have been here for almost 3 years, and these two parties think that they can be better because we have led with experience. We have led with passion and with vision of the future of Malaysia. Whereas these other two parties, they have no long-term plan for Malaysia, and they seem that they are only power hungry and they are only selfish and they are only focusing on for their own benefits and their own power. So in other words, I think that these other parties, they are not working for the people. Because as you can see, for BRM particularly, when they were in opposition, I don't think they proposed anything of substantial, of significance. They have not done anything in Parliament. All they've done is to eye our bills, and that is all they've done. As opposition, they did not even criticize us as government. That is to show how incompetent that they are and how well we did in government, to the point that the opposition doesn't even want to criticize us. Thank you, Clash.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Yao. So now let's go on to Mr. GD Wendin. All the same 3 minutes. You may speak.
Thank you. I would like to point it out there that I don't like how Mr. Yao describes BRM as a whole. We have, as you can see, they may be the pioneers or so-called pioneers, but I don't think that they have the rights or the reasons to be voted, as they are one of the longest long-term parties and one of the longest winning parties. I would just like to point out that PDM may vary from different potentials, but I don't think it's just the reason for them to be voted, since they are just the pioneers.
Mr. Wenden, are you finished?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
And PTA as a whole, I I do not I mean I do not agree with their way or acts of how they campaign and condemn both BRM and PDM. In fact, they are just contested in one general election. So I don't think they have any rights to. No, not they do not have any rights. They do not. They can claim that they are one of the best governments or potential governments, because as you can see, most of the candidates been roasting BR and PDM without prior experience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wenden. So now let's go on to Mr. Drax. So 3 minutes, as always. You may speak.
The difference of our policies from other party is, yes, as you know, if PDM they have many experience, more like that. They are saying about they have many experience like that. If BRM they will say like we are not good if we are on campaigning or whatever. So my policy of my party is we will not being we are not being a trash, like just said, but we doesn't do anything. We must do anything, whatever what we need. So thank you. That's all.
Okay, very short there, Mr. Drax. Uh, Let us go to Mr. All right, I remember. Sorry. All right, so open discussion for this particular question. So 80 seconds. You may speak.
Before that, can I said to Mr. Yao, if you want to question, please just a short question. By the way, no need to like
Just ask.
speaking
Just ask.
many.
Stop wasting time, please. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to ask you guys, what do you for BRM? What do you think about PTA? You said we are provoked like that, more like that. Can we have
Yes,
been said sorry about statement about every statement we have been say sorry to PDM, having say sorry to
Yeah.
other party like that.
Okay. Well.
So BRM, please say about it.
Okay. I'm a bit
yes, you
confused.
mean
I, I will thank you for apologizing for us. I'm not sure why you're gonna apologize for us, but thank you, I guess. And yeah, I, I don't know what you've just said. It was a bit unclear, unfortunately. And yeah, I don't think that I have much to criticize about the other candidates here. I believe they have made valuable points of contribution, although I do question some of the points, but I don't think there's enough time right now to do that. And I believe that the later questions will
10
give us
seconds.
ample opportunity to do so. Thank you.
Okay. And time's up for open discussion. So next, so firstly, so we're just gonna inform our viewers real quick that we are going into technical difficulties for obvious reasons that you have seen in front of you. It is pretty obvious. So we're going to technical difficulties for a moment. We apologize for this inconvenience, but sure enough, we'll return. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to the programming. Welcome back to the NWS 17 General Election Town Hall Debate. I am your host, Cynically Clash. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but sure enough, like we promised, we are back. So, camera, let us go on to rotate 180 degrees clockwise. Now, let us go back to the main topic. Let me just get my script here. There we go. So now, let us go on to policies. We have enough with showing off our parties. Let's go on to actual policies. So now, for our fourth question, what what are your plans for home affairs and the military? So this is basically anything that involves national affairs, national service, interior, etc. So uh, let us start from Drax Miller. 180 seconds, 3 minutes as always. You may speak now.
My plans on the issues of home affairs and military is making them to deploy to other country, more like that. Like for example, like Malaysian battalion. For example, I'm going to establish the Malaysian battalion if can. So which mean need for meeting with the others, with the general staff or whatever. Second, for police police and immigrations, we may give them to make a good job, like make a nice role play, make more role play about the job. So as for now, sorry, I think that things was the issue telari run of the issue. Okay, so as for now, to ensuring, okay, so for home affairs, for police, ensuring that the welfare of members maintained by emphasizing the status of police members by analyzing the current status and formulating strategy for the development of the police department, and maximizing police powers and explaining the law and the powers that a police officer has to perform duties in the field. For immigrations, ensuring the immigration can perform immigration duties well by performing various related activities and operation under the recommendations of the Ministry of the Interior, and also make immigrations with other security department by creating a variety of new information equipment. For defense is promoting and interacting between governments and the armed forces. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Drax. So now let's go on to Mr. GD Wendin. Yes, I believe. Why should I even question that? Anyways, Mr. Wendin, 3 minutes, 180 seconds. Sorry for the disrespect. You may speak.
Thank you. So I have a few things to be pointing out. So some of them are improving the I mean improving our the public. Sorry, my bad. So under our government, the BRM government, we will be hosting frequent meetings and with the emergency services such as PDRM. So to plan or form a strategy method to ensure crime rates that have been recently rising in Kuala Lumpur or Bandar, and to reduce it. We are also plan to close the gaps between close the misunderstanding within the public and the public service, since we've seen in the past few months, the protests about the PWM is failing and the government is failing. So we want to close on what should I say? The want to make the the words uh doesn't exist in our community. So we also will be decreasing involvement of increasing our public services with foreign
60 seconds, Mr. Wendy.
foreign citizens, so can have the so we can strengthen our ties with our allies, so we can improve uh, our
30 seconds.
communications with our ministries. I mean, not other ministries, other nations. Sorry, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wendin. Very long there, but nonetheless, use our time maximum. Now, so lastly, Mr. Yao, 3 minutes as always. You may speak now.
Yep, thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, I guess you can. So first of all, we have a lot of plans for the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Home Affairs. So I'll start with the Ministry of Defense. One of the plans we have is to look to conduct international military exercises with other nations and the Malaysian Armed Forces. One of which is to maybe look into nations in Oceania, for example, maybe Australia and maybe New Zealand, if they are willing to partake in such an endeavor. But in basically, in essence, we are trying to work with different nations and their armed forces to ensure that our nation's armed forces are capable for any endeavor, capable for any crisis, for any incident, for any warfare in any scenario. Next, we also have the Veteran Affairs Department of the Malaysian Armed Forces that is planned. Of course, there's also the equivalent of this for that we have planned for the Malaysian police, but basically both of these, their purpose is to provide welfare towards either current serving officers or former officers and soldiers of Malaysia to ensure that their welfare is maintained and to ensure that they can receive benefits for the service in Malaysia. And for both of these associations or affairs departments, one of which is ample legal support, because right now it is difficult to find legal support in such an inactive such an inactive judiciary. So therefore, finding relevant legal support is very important. Of course, we also looking to implement. This is more of an ambitious initiative, but we plan to initiate an international merit exchange program. Basically, these will allow us to possibly transfer troops between us and other foreign militaries, allowing officers and soldiers from the Malaysian Armed Forces to gain experience in other armed forces, allowing the Malaysian Armed Forces to develop. Moving on to the Ministry of Home Affairs, one of
60
which,
seconds.
yes, okay. So one of the biggest things that we have planned is the Police Association. Initially conceptualized as the Affairs Department, we have decided that Police Association is needed to more as a formal have it as a formal organization to
30
ensure
seconds.
that legal support is offered and social activities are available for current and former police officers. Thank you.
Competition is getting tight as Mr. Yao and Mr. Wendin uses their time maximum. Thank you, Mr. Yao. So now, let us go on to open discussion. But firstly, let me just list the questions that our audience has submitted to us. So firstly, keep in mind that you may use this open discussion to answer these questions. So firstly, if you are elected, where will you see the armed forces at the end of your term? And what can you offer to the armed forces in terms of defense policies? And what makes you think that your initiatives for the armed forces is something that no other party has done or achieved? So because of these questions, it is reasonable for us to add the time. So we'll go on to add it to 2 minutes for open discussion. So 2 minutes, 120 seconds. So parties, you may deliberate. 2 minutes, you may speak.
Thank you, Clash. I'm just going to answer the question that one of our viewers have gave here. So first of all, I think one of the most unique initiatives that we have, and as we have mentioned, is the merit exchange program that we have suggested. This is pretty much one of the most unique initiatives that PDM has to offer and has pretty much not been seen before in the Ministry of Defense. And I believe I pretty much summed up the entire initiative quite clearly, and I don't think that's really necessary to go over that. But yes, I think that is one of the most important ones. And another one is that we're working with more nations in foreign exercises, including some in Oceania, in Southeast Asia, in East Asia, as well as other nations globally, other than just the United Kingdom, which has been previously what has happened. Because I believe that it is important that we engage with all nations to not only ensure a policy of neutrality for foreign affairs, but at the same time allowing us to develop in all situations by being experienced in all scenarios and all terrains. I wonder what BRM has to say about that, if they have anything to say at all.
We have 50 seconds left. Parties, we need to use our time maximally here. So please do us a favor and answer the questions that our viewers have offered.
It seems that he does not know how to answer the question, Mr. GD Wendon. Can you please answer the question?
If if no one
Can
will
you
speak,
please
then we
answer the
will
question?
end the discussion here.
Okay.
All right. 5, 4, 3. Okay, let us stop here. Looks like no parties will talk other than Yao, which is a shame because I gave 2 minutes for them. But nonetheless, we'll continue. That is our representative's choice to be silent. So now, let us go on to the Ministry of Justice, one of the most hot topic in today's political climate. So, the Ministry of Justice is on the brink of hiatus, obviously. And so, because of this hiatus, what will be your actions to prevent this and maybe significantly improve its conditions? So, starting from Mr. Yao, 3 minutes, you may speak.
Okay, thank you. So basically, what we plan as PDM is to pretty much restore the status quo in the Ministry of Justice. Sorry, I'm eating a banana right now. I didn't expect to be called on so soon, but basically one of our goals is to resume prosecution for in-game offenses because previously that was the case, which brought activity into the Ministry of Justice, and at the same time, I managed to convince some criminals to not commit crime, and through restarting in-game prosecution for in-game offenses, this will allow pretty much the criminal justice system to become active again, allowing more lawyers to develop this, more solicitors and advocates to develop their skills as well, because the criminal justice system, as a person who has previously become a lawyer in Malaysia, the criminal justice system is a relatively more simple system compared to civil law. Therefore, I think that restarting operations for criminal offenses, I believe that is important to allow us to develop new solicitors and new advocates as well. Next, another objective we have is to work hand in hand with the Bar Council, which manages the Bar Association of Malaysia. We will work with them, alliance with them, to find ways to increase recruitment into the Bar Council and Bar Association of Malaysia. This way, we can have more people in the legal field, allowing them to develop skills in the legal field and offering their support, which allows Malaysia to grow as a nation in terms of the justice system, which is very crucial and very important in any nation. Thank you, Clash.
Okay, 2 minutes for that. Thank you, Mr. Yao. So now let's go on to Mr. Wendin. 3 minutes as always. Maybe I'll repeat the question. Uh, the Ministry of Justice is on the brink of a hiatus. What will be your actions to prevent it and possibly improve the conditions of it? 3 minutes, Mr. Wendin. You may speak.
Well, first we'll be reforming the syllabus of the CLPPC, yes, or the bar exam of Malaysia, because the bar exam in our Malaysia, the Malaysian bar exam is not up to date with other bar exams such as from the UK and Canada. So we plan to reform it, and once it is reformed, I will encourage the public to take CLPPC because as it will be more easier and more effective for the public to pass it. Next, we will be restructuring the judicial system. Um, by restructuring, we can increase the productivity as we can bring new faces in the judicial system. Graduates of the CLPPC will have a chance to take part in the system and to contribute to it.
Is that all, Mr. Wendin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wendin. So let us go on to Mr. Drax Miller, as always. So now, 3 minutes, 180 seconds. You may speak now.
My actions to prevent it is sorry, Mr. Clash, can I speak on Malay? If can.
So for this, we shall make an exception. You may speak in Malay if that is comfortable for you. But for the next questions, you must speak in English. This is your only
Alright.
chance. Thank you.
Okay, so bagi tindakan saya untuk mencegahnya ialah mencari kes apa-apa kes yang tidak pernah dibuka ataupun yang tidak pernah pun dipecakapkan dikatakan dalam mahkamah. So kita kena carikan kes-kes yang baru. So itulah sebabnya kenapa kita harus mencegahnya dengan tindakan itu. Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Bapak Drax Miller. Saya tak boleh cakap Malay dengan lancar karena saya orang Indonesia, boleh dimengerti. Jadi we have finished for this section. So let us go on to the but anyways, let me check the questions that. All right, so I believe there are no questions for the Ministry of Justice
Open
by our
discussion,
viewers.
please.
But please let us announce the results for who are the winners of tonight's debate. So as of right now, as of 9 p.m., PDM is currently leading at 71.4%, a total of 30. So and then PTA 20%, and BRM 8.6%. So there are a total of 35 votes that have voted tonight. If you haven't voted, scan the barcode below. I don't know, I'm not watching the stream right now, obviously. But if you haven't voted, vote now. And after this debate, it will become clear who is the exact winner. So now let us go back to the programming. So now, 80 seconds for open discussion. You may start now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clash, for your reporting of the poll results, and thank you to all the other candidates for saying their point. But I think it's quite clear that all the other candidates do not have any understanding of the legal system. First of all, let me just introduce myself very briefly. I am in the Bar Association in Malaysia. I've taken the CLP. I have passed it, and our Minister of Justice candidate, he has formerly been Attorney General of Malaysia, and he has also taken other legal occupations around the world. Therefore, he is much more experienced than any of us three here in this debate. And as a result, I just like to comment on what BRM has said. I believe that their Minister of Justice candidate, he has no knowledge of the judicial system, and he's not even a lawyer in Malaysia. He's not even a Malaysian bar, which is pretty much one of the lowest qualifications to becoming a lawyer in Malaysia. So I think that what BRM said, I think it's completely nonsensical because their Minister of Justice candidate, they pretty much do not know the digital system. They think that reforming the bar exam is going to change it. And although reforming it is important, but just that alone not do anything. And because not only you have to make the exam easier, which might decrease the quality of our solicitors and advocates in Malaysia, we also have to consider increasing
10
recruitment
seconds.
instead of just decreasing standards. You clash.
Okay.
I guess
So
I guess the candidates have nothing else to say. Yes, thank you.
I
okay.
think Ministry of
Okay, Mr.
Justice.
Mr. Drax, please silent for. Okay, so I understand that the candidates during debate. Let me remind all the representatives that you may interrupt candidates. There is no rule for you to not interrupt to not be allowed to interrupt these candidates. You are only that rule is only enforced during answers, but for this specific section, the open discussion, you may interrupt. This is my final reminder that you may speak freely. So I will give you all 60 seconds to do anything to discuss on this issue. So 1 minute, you may all speak now.
So as I know,
Okay.
Ministry of Justice as its on pet seal. So Lord President should fix their own problems.
Okay. Thank you for speaking out about your policies, Mr. PTA. But I recommend that you maybe get your manifesto done before even considering talk about your policies. But yeah, and BRM, I think I pretty much summed up my points against BRM. Their candidate for the Ministry of Justice, they have no experience, they have no good plan and vision for the Ministry of Justice and the judiciary, which is very essential and very important for Malaysia because the judiciary and the judicial system
10.
is the basis of our law and order. Thank you, Clash.
All right. So far, Mr. Ya has been dominating this debate, and I expect more voices from other representatives. So, but nonetheless, we'll just continue. So, let us go to the next question. So, the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Sports and Youth Association, not to be confused. So, there is MOYS and there's Saya. Not me, but SAYA. So, both of them have been standing for almost 3 years, despite its massive inactivity and inaction. Will you even, will you all even do any different for the youth and sports sector? And if so, what are your actions to do so? So, we'll start from Mr. Drax. As always, 3 minutes. You may speak.
Yeah, so I will do any difference. For example, I will be establish new things, which mean I will be establish the Majlis Sukan Negara MSN. Okay, so which mean these establishments aims to ensure the sport activity are always running and active so that the people can enjoy the activities and not feel bored while playing. Second, I will make another Sukan like Sukan Malaysia, but version Roblox. This establishment of Sukma is for give other country to know about Malaysians that have on Malaysians. And otherwise, we will be focusing on football. Football, for example, we will make like Malaysian Cup or whatever. So, and lastly, establish carnival campaign, organize carnival or campaign, more like that. So, thank you. That's all
Thank
for
you,
me.
Mr. Drax. So, a very interesting word there, sukma. Of course, that is not what you think it is, but it is the other way. It is about sports in Malaysia. So, hope everyone understands that. So, but now that doesn't matter. Now let's go on to Mr. Wendin. 3 minutes as always, Mr. Wendin. You may speak.
First, we will be reforming SAYA or the Sports and Youth Association. So by reforming, we are going to not be replacing, but appointing more experienced and suitable persons, so that they are experienced in the sports area. Next, we will be making Suka Rakyat program, a weekly program that is entitled to sports. It will be mostly about promoting sports, such as the handball, silat, and football. We'll also be empowering the football industry. So a soccer team will be formed, and frequent practice will be made, so we can represent Malaysia in the international Olympics. Such other tournaments can also be held, such as the silat tournament. So we can introduce the public about the the traditional Malaysian sports. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Wendin. So now, let us go on to Mr. Yao for the youth and sports sector. I'll repeat that again. So, 3 minutes as always, Mr. Yao. You may speak.
Thank you. We for the youth and sports sector, EDM pretty much has three general objectives. Two of which are pilot programs and initiatives that we believe will benefit this sector and this ministry greatly. The first one is Jom Active. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but basically, this this is focused on working with developers and allowing more job opportunities for Malaysians who take part in such a program. For example, we're going to organize various activities through this initiative, such as photography contests, such as marathons, picnics, and all of these, which allow our people to to improve their social skills, engage with one another, to increase our bonds as a community, and improve our community as overall through such events organized. Next, we also have another initiative, which is Hello Yang Berhormat, or Hello YB. Basically, through this, we are intending to increase the relationship between the people and the government greatly by allowing the people to contact members of parliament. This means that each individual member of parliament may have their own Discord channel in a given Discord server, allowing them to communicate with certain people and the general Malaysian public, allowing not only our members of parliament to develop their skills in verbal communication, but also allowing the public to understand more about politics and allowing them to have a more personal involvement in politics by communicating directly with those who are engaged with it. And lastly, our final objective pretty much is to bring back activity into the sport youth association, Saya. Basically, we are planning to introduce various sports back into Saya and hosting activities as part of Jump Active related to these sports, such as handball and silat, which have been hosted in the past and quite popular sports in Malaysia. And we also will start development of the Kuala Lumpur Sports Hub in the new year and rebuild our sports hub to allow more sports activities and a new sports facility for all Malaysians as part of PD. Thank you. Clash.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yao. So let us go on next to open discussion. So as always, it is 1 minute and 20 seconds. So I expect more candidates to speak. Yeah, okay. So 1 minute 20 seconds. You may speak.
Okay, thank you, Clash. First of all, I'd like to comment a bit on what the candidate for BRM has said so far. What they have suggested is that they have a program which allows more weekly sports events to encourage Malaysians to socialize. I don't think that this is quite an effective strategy because, first of all, the time that people are available and the manpower that people are available at, they vary a lot depending on the time of day. For example, for some periods, there may be very little people willing to participate in social programs and sport programs because they are busy with their exams in real life or their occupations in real life. Whereas if we host these events more in the holidays, more people will get involved and more people will participate. So instead of focusing on hosting weekly events, which would be probably useless because they're eventually going to get boring, we should host occasional events in times of holidays and such. which was what PDM plans to do through our Jump Active initiative. And
Mr.
I
Yao,
don't think yes, what? Yes.
I have a question. Have you ever joining any sport on real life?
We already have two sports that is quite popular with handball and Salah, and we also have quite a big football. We previously had quite a bit football sector in a soccer sector in Malaysia. Unfortunately, and of course, PDM will review this and see if we
Yeah, time is
could
up.
revive. Of course, there's no guarantees about that, but we'll look into it. Thank you, Clash.
Okay. So, as always, very quiet, but nonetheless, we'll continue. So, these are not questions by me, but uh, I will say the questions by our most loyal viewers. So, let us. So again, because we are on such a short time right now. These questions will be open discussion. All right. So open discussion, but the time is always the same. 3 minutes. Please debate, everyone. So this is about our state of foreign affairs. The United Kingdom has been recently removed from the United Nations. If you are elected as government, or if you are representing the government, are there any actions you will take regarding this, or hold any views regarding this? So let me just quote it from yesterday's NWS news. The United Kingdom has been removed from the United Nations under the ACME Act after a building tension between the two parties for allegations of doxing and I quote, harboring a sexual discurrent. So I hope you all understand that. So I repeat, this will be an open discussion regarding the state of our foreign affairs. 3 minutes, you may all speak.
Okay, thank you, Clash, for asking that question. As a matter of fact, I was the viewer that suggested that question, so I think this is a good ample opportunity to talk a bit about our foreign affairs. So, in terms of our relationship with the United Kingdom, I believe that considering we have such a relationship for a long time, it is important to maintain such relations while ensuring that there is a checks and balances to ensure that the United Kingdom maintains a good stance in the community, because there are allegations that they have harbored certain sexual offenders, and I'm not going to comment on these. If there is evidence that does suggest that they are involved in such an affair, I think that the United Kingdom should take action against said person if these allegations are true. But as of right now, it is unclear because we do not see any evidence in this regard. But yes, and in regard to the United Nations, I think it as under a PDM government, I think it is very important that we do not just nonchalantly leave the United Nations right now or join the United Kingdom's United Nations. I believe it is important to, first of all, keep our bilateral ties with other nations in the United Nations and then do a comprehensive review of all of our options in regards to participation in the United Nations, in addition to our relationship with the United Kingdom, before making such a decision. And if we're going to go through with a major decision, for example, leaving the United Nations or joining the United Nations that is supposedly going to be opened by the United Kingdom, we would most likely host a national referendum concerning this issue if PDM is government, and will ensure that the people voices are heard in regards to this regard, because the foreign affairs of Malaysia is very important and should be dictated by the people, not only the government who is in power, because this will ensure government accountability and ensure that the government is representing people and people's interests.
Are you
Everyone,
sure about
3
that?
seconds.
Are you sure about
I
that?
am. Yes, I am very sure about that. We have been leading Malaysia for the past few terms since, pretty much for all terms since the 8th general election, except one term. But we have led a neutral stance in foreign affairs and foreign politics, and we will maintain that neutral stand as we have in government. And
So
unlike the other two parties, they haven't ever been in government, so we have no
what
idea what they're
happened to
going
the
to do.
16th
And they
general
might be
elections?
chaotic.
PDM
They might
won
cause
majority.
chaos in Malaysia. They might cause chaos in the international community. So therefore, PDM is the best option to choose here, guys. Okay, because we will make sure that we will maintain our political neutrality as we have in the past 2 years, and we promise that we will maintain that. Thank you.
So I think the previously in the 16 general elections, PDM won a majority of forms and form a government, but lack of preparations for successions and in fighting led to the government
Time is
collapse.
over.
So what happened?
Okay.
Tell me. Yeah, I want to ask you. Tell me now. What happened?
Time is over. Unfortunately, we would not be able to answer that question. But luckily, the next question will be another open discussion because this is another question by our viewers. So the last question of our main course tonight will be, what are your future plans for MCMC and how to make sure such plan is adequate to make MCMC functional? Now, to give Mr. Yao to answer, we'll extend the time to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So, Mr. Yao, you may use the 30 seconds
Okay.
to answer Mr.
Thank you.
Drax. So, open discussion, everyone. You may interrupt, you may deliberate, you may do everything as long as relevant. So,
Okay,
30
so
minutes,
I'm
30
going to
seconds. You may
Oh,
all
sorry.
speak.
Okay, so I'm going to answer the question about the MCMC. So first of all, what we plan to do in regard to the communications and multimedia ministry, we will first of all ensure that we have a functioning MCMC, and we will review the procedures and practices. We will identify gaps for improvement. We will ensure that the MCMC can be functional in the long term and the short term, and we make sure that MCMC can be capable of enforcing the multimedia laws that dictate multimedia and the media industry in Malaysia, which has been drafted in the past, to ensure that our media sector will remain healthy, remain vibrant, and remain sustainable. Of course, we also plan to introduce an act called the Publishing and Broadcasting Act, which will ensure which will introduce media licensing and ensure that there is proper regulation of the media industry, to ensure that there are certain safeguards and liberties for media companies so that we can guarantee the rights of expression of people at the same time ensuring that defamation and satire is not rampant in our private media. Of course, all of this will contribute to an environment where media can thrive, can thrive on the long term, and to ensure that all of them can report largely factual and largely informative news, to ensure that false reporting does not influence the public and cause a bad impression of Malaysia in the community. How much time do we have left, Mr. Clash?
2 minutes, roughly.
2 minutes, okay.
Roughly.
So,
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Mr. The representative for PTA, can you please ask a question again that you asked previously?
Okay, do you want the answer? Okay.
Oh, you already answered.
And the question
Okay.
is, the previously in the 16 general elections, PDM won a majority and formed a government, but lack of preparations for successions and in fighting the led to the government collapse. What happened?
Okay, first of all, you use the word collapse. Like, first of all, what do you mean by collapse? Because it did not collapse. What that happened was that BRM supported a person called BOVA. They supported him. They backstabbed PDM, and they overthrew the values of democracy. They overthrew the values of rightful government and representative and representation of the people. During the political crisis of 2022, BRM supported a person of BOVA who overthrew the PDM and decided to support BOVA and admit BOVA as a member of parliament just so that he can become, or she can become, the prime minister. And of course, we all know how that turned out. This led to protests across Malaysia for a week or so, and this led to discontent among the people with the government, and eventually leading to His Majesty the Yang Di-Pertugas to intervene in the government and to appoint a government to ensure that Malaysia will be kept stable. And we do not want an unstable government which has been supported and advocated by BRM by supporting BFA.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. But in other words, BRM has supported chaos, has supported unrightful government, and has damaged the values of democracy by supporting a person as BOVA. Therefore, I'd like to ask the BRM representative, why did you support BOVA, and why did you support BOVA?
Okay, everyone.
Right now,
time is up. Okay, thank you. So, time is up. So now let us thank you everyone, first of all. So, camera, let us go on to check the polling, of who is the tonight's debate winner. So, according to all of you, there has been a total of 53 votes as of 9:20. So PDM has dropped, dropped massively, 54.7% now. However, BRM has overtaken PTA, leading, but uh, now leading in 26.4%. So second, and PTA is 18.9%. So now PDM still first, but dropped very massively, almost 55%, roughly. And now, and BRM has overtaken PTA. So uh, hopefully everyone understands that. So now let us go on to our final course. Not final question, but final course. This will be a challenge for all candidates. They must answer this question without slipping and with proper and decisive answers. What I would like to call this section is the gotcha question. The gotcha, like gotcha. So we will ask each candidates or representatives 3 questions on their on their controversies, on their statements. So this will be a challenge for all representatives. So everyone, I hope you are all ready. So let us start from Mr. Yao. Mr. Yao, first question. Why are you extremely confident in your chances of winning the election? 5 minutes, you may speak.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Clash, and thank you for the generous amount of time to answer this question. Just to clarify, your question is about my belief in PDM winning the election. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so
You have
basically,
made
I
statements
believe that
previously.
PDM. Sorry.
You have made statements previously that you are very confident, and even going as far as calling out BRM's chances on winning the election. And you did blatantly say that you are very very confident. So we are curious, why are you very confident of that?
I think it's very clear. But both parties are the other two parties are quite unexperienced. And they have never been in government or been in government for a successful amount of time. So I think that's quite clear. These two governments are incompetent and inexperienced to lead Malaysia, and PDM is the only right option to do. I don't think a long and comprehensive answer is necessary for this question because I believe the people know that PDM is the right choice for them. Thank you, Clash. Mr. Clash, I am finished with my response. Mr. Clash? Mr. Clash? Mr. Clash, I'm finished with my response. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll just repeat my response to my question again. I believe that PDM will win this election because PDM, we have won previous elections. We have pretty much won all the elections previously since the 8th general election, and I believe that we'll win again because we have an experienced cabinet that will bring experience into their fields and experience into their ministries, whereas we also have newer members of parliament who will now more innovative and more unique. ideas to be brought into politics if PDM is elected as government. Thank you. I'll just gonna intervene and act as moderator for now.
Ariel.
Yeah, BRM. Can you please answer the same question? Why do you think you will win the election, even though you probably won't?
Well, I think BRM can win the election because we have the number of supporters for BRM. From the supporters from each parties like Pernas, NSF, and GLN. With the number of supporters, we can possibly we can win this general election. I'm sorry about it. Not to mention that we are constantly improving ourselves, and we are also training our new candidates to be a better politician and to be the backbone of BRM.
Sorry. My apologies, but there has been a technical difficulties on my audio side. But however, nonetheless, we will continue. I would like to remind us this is not an open discussion. I don't know why Mr. Wendens was speaking, but we'll continue. So, Mr. Yao, we'll continue to your second question. Past elections, you have not sorted to attack campaigns until today. Are you concerned with your party integrity? 5 minutes. You may speak now.
Sorry, can you please ask the question again? Okay, I did not hear the question you asked. Can you please ask the question again?
Oh, okay. So, past elections, you have not sorted to attack campaigns until today. Are you concerned with your party integrity?
Okay, so first of all, I don't understand how attacking other campaigns and party integrity, I don't understand how they are related. I mean, of course they do have a relationship, but I don't understand how they are such strongly related to be worthy of a question in this debate. But first of all, I started attacking other campaigns today because I believe that it is necessary, because I am just shocked at the sheer incompetency that one certain party has out of the three that we have here, most notably PTA. But I believe that party integrity, I believe it's important. I believe that PDM is doing quite well in terms of party integrity. I believe that we value the principles of integrity, and we are still working towards improving our integrity. Thank you, Clash.
All right. But why do you think it is necessary? Because I believe PDM since the maybe 13th general election have not sorted to any sort of attack campaign, not under secret, not under affiliation, not under mere, not under verdict, but now it starts to change with you. What is the reason behind this, and why do you think it is even necessary to do so? And are you even is there even the need to do these methods?
Okay, so I believe that this is necessary in certain occasions because, first of all, I believe, Clash, I don't want to insult you anyway, but I believe what you have said is incorrect, because I'm quite sure that in past campaigns that PDM has, although they mostly have, but they have in certain instances they have criticized the policies of other governments and other parties. So what you've said is pretty much untrue in my opinion.
However, the
I believe that
frequency of campaigns, of attack campaigns, has been significantly lower in past elections. Why have you turned up the frequency for this election, despite the fact that your chances is maybe better, like maybe significantly better than other parties?
I believe it is important to put parties and put political entities at their place, because first of all, PTA is using very glorific and very glorifying language to describe the party, which is completely not true and is really unrepresentative and is, I would consider, propaganda in a way. And for BRM, they're doing better, but I believe that some of their statements are not really true and not really factual to the point, because they pretty much say that their manifesto is very good, but most of their ideas have been recycled and some of them are ineffective as mentioned previously. That is all I have to say to that. I recommend you maybe go ask some of the other candidates questions.
All right, I believe that will be it for the second. So now, third. You have accused BRM of incompetence when there are ministers such as Watway, 2009-2, I believe you recognize him, Gabriel Tan, 88888, which has actually been proven guilty of defamation and negligence, and most of all, Mr. Buffier. So, do you recognize the damages done by your party during your party's governance? And even though Buffier did not actually did not do this under your banner, it is definitely a result of your party's 2-year dominance, and to the point it has bred less competition and a very easy way to let your members win in a such horrible method, I would say. You may speak, by the way. So the point is, do you recognize the damages done by your party during your party's governance?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, no.
So first of all, I disagree with some of the points that you have said, Clear Clash. That is not true. First of all, BFA, as you have clarified, they have not. BFA has done their chaos through the banner of BRM, which I believe you should criticize them about. But although BFA has grown some reputation in BDM, we do not anticipate that he will grow to such a state into become pretty much almost insane and mentally unstable to the point that he thinks that becoming prime minister with no experience is a good idea. But first of all, we did not support BOV to go to such a position that he did during the political crisis. So I believe that PDM, I believe that we have no involvement in that. I believe that this is solely the ambitions of BOVA and BRM, who has quite clearly and with evidence supported him throughout his rise to power and his eventual collapse and intervention by His Majesty, the Yang Di-Pertuanagang. Next, you have talked about Gabriel Tan. First of all, I'm actually involved in the case of the lawsuit against Gabriel Tan, but I like to say that Gabriel Tan, I believe that him as a person, I believe that he does not represent the interests of the party, and his actions, I believe that his actions wasn't correct, but I believe that he has done okay as a politician, but of course, with the exception of his actions.
So does this mean that PDM is not responsible for this, and their ministers are just doing everything that they can possibly do without even the control of the government? Because ministers are supposed to be under the flag of the government.
Okay, first of all, so some ministers that have in the past of our pretty much 10-term reign, like if you think it counts, like we've pretty much been in government for like about 6 to 10. I can't count right now, but I think it's quite clear that these are just extraordinary circumstances in which some individuals become mentally unstable or become overly ambitious and think that doing some random political movements and maneuvers would benefit them, in which case clearly did not. But for this term, the cabinet I've selected is clearly more experienced than last term. We have 6 individuals who I trust very much, who have worked in Malaysia for a significant period of time, and in my opinion is very trustworthy, and I don't think they would do such
Mr. Yao, do you recognize the damages done by your party, whether directly or indirectly?
They are not done by the party. They are done by the ministers who decided that they are the best people in the world, the most powerful politicians in the world, when they are actually not. Okay,
But this is under your party, not not by the
They
actions.
have
Even though
effectively
they did the
become
actions,
not a
it
part
is
of our
under the
party
banner
by
of
doing their
PDM.
actions.
It's not. They are representing PDM, whether you like it or not.
I am
They represent PDM. So why are you drifting from the point? Why are you drifting from the fact that they ran under PDM, under the Bunga Raya emblem?
Yeah, first of all, I am disappointed in Clash. I have a lot of faith in you as a moderator of this debate, but it seems that you are being politically motivated to the point that you seem to be
No, I'm not
biased.
being
And
politically motivated.
yes, you are being
Everyone else
biased.
will get the
The
same
last few
treatment.
questions are all directed against me, and you have not asked a single thing to PT and BRM for
Yes,
the
we
last
will
few
do
minutes.
that, Mr. Yao. Please
Yes, I
understand that we
recommend you do that
will
right
do
now.
that. We will do that after this section, I
Okay.
believe. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so
Understand.
just to clear up the
1
accusations
minute.
that Mr. Clash has made, even though that they have run under the PDM banner, I believe that in almost all instances we have expelled them from PDM when they have done such actions to damage Malaysia.
Gabriel
Because
resigned.
yes, I know he resigned. Therefore, he was no longer part of our banner, no longer part of our party. Yes.
All right.
So, for people that are involved in such actions, in such reckless actions, we either expel them or they willingly resign themselves. Thank you.
All right. Thank
is
you,
all.
Mr. Yao, for that. So that is a very productive and probably the most exciting action. So now let us go on to Mr. Wendin, representing BRM. Mr. Wendin, even though I did a very hard questioning on Yao, this will go the same for you. So please understand that. So firstly, what differentiates your party past election with this election? Will there be even any difference? Will there be any difference in terms of election chances? It appears Mr. Wendon has left. All right, so Mr. Wendon has left, but for now we'll just go on. We'll just move on. Mr. Drax, like I said, this will
Yes.
go the same for you.
First of all, I would like to say hi.
Mr. Drax, I'm not finished.
Okay.
I haven't explained the question. Your party leader has been extremely unbothered and uninterested with the current situation of Malaysia, and most of the times just dismissing this political climate as a Lego game. Is your party really interested, or is your party uninterested? 5 minutes, by the way. You may speak.
Done. Okay, so first of all, I would like to say hi to Jack on comment, by the way. So sorry, I cannot get what you say. Can you repeat it again?
So, your party has been extremely unbothered and uninterested. Tidak tertarik. Why did your sorry, I'm apologies. Most of the times your party leader has dismissed this whole political climate with simply calling it a Lego game, a Lego party, a Lego politics. Is your party really interested? Apakah parti Anda tertarik? Apakah parti Anda tidak tertarik?
Yes. Can I speak on Malay?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
But I will answer in
Sekarang,
English.
okay. Sekarang nih, dia sebenarnya tertarik. Cuma kami sekarang tengah busy dengan ini real life kami. Jadi disebabkan itu kami bukannya tidak tertarik, tapi kami tertarik dengan apa yang ini semua. Cuma kami sekarang tengah busy dengan real life, dengan apa yang real life, dengan busy dengan
But the
ada lagi
problem is, Mr. Drax, that you have been calling that your party, most specifically your party leader, has called this whole debauchery as just simply Lego, like Lego game, Lego politics. So is your party really interested in all of this, or are they just gonna simply dismiss this? If you're gonna be the government, are you going to just label this whole simulation as just, well, Lego game, Lego politics?
No. Yeah. I try to answer.
Yes, yes. You may answer. I will interrupt. As like yeah.
So as for now, again, can you repeat again?
Oh my God.
Sorry, I didn't
Mr.
get it.
Drax, let me repeat that again.
Okay.
Your party has called your party, most specifically your party leader has called this whole debauchery, this whole situation as Lego, just this Lego, that Lego. If you're gonna be the government, will your party also call this whole thing just Lego, Lego, Lego? Is because this is going to affect the government's view on our issues here. So, are you tertarik ke atau tak tertarik?
Tarik.
Interested, but you called
Yes.
it Lego. Like, I mean, yes, we know you have real life affairs. Everyone has real life affairs. Let's not forget that. But the problem is your party has always called this whole thing Lego, Lego, Lego. It's almost becoming a buzzword of your coalition right now. So so seriously, is your will your party take this any seriously?
As for now, we didn't take this seriously because we
As
are
of
target
now.
only. As of now, yes.
Because Mr. Drax, let's understand that we are at least a week away from voting day, and just now you're telling me that you are taking this seriously.
We are taking this seriously a bit.
A bit,
Uh,
but you have
no,
aimed
not
to
a
be
bit,
the government.
not a bit, but not a bit, but many lah, many. Can set many. As for now, I think I'm very busy with real life or whatever because until like month of 3. So I think this thing I will not focusing on politics. So I will be focusing on real life as for now. But if 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 we are
So 30
being a
seconds.
government, so I need to be if I being a government, saya terpaksa untuk ambil serius dalam Lego game. Antara itu. Jadi kalau saya sekarang ni ada dua. Saya sekarang ni ada dua. Antara saya mau antara saya nak saya mau sejak mau lah. Antara saya mau antara saya mau fokus ataupun tidak.
So time is up, Mr. Drax.
Okay.
You may not answer any further. All right,
Okay.
let's go on to the second question. Mr. Drax, you have admitted to not having enough shadow ministers, but confront your party leader admitted that it has enough ministers. So this is the simple question: who is correct?
The correct
Who
one.
is correct in this case?
In this case, they will be the leader.
The leader. But
the
you
leader is
said
correct.
that we do not have enough ministers, but now you say that now you say that the party leader is correct on confront that he said we have enough ministers. Yes, we know that you are confident. We know that you are confident that we'll not have enough ministers. But you are confident that we'll have uh, enough ministers to run the day-to-day of government. But now you are saying that we, but now you are saying that the party leader is correct. So let us simplify this. Who is correct in this case?
Okay. So this
Like
case we have been discussing. Oh, okay.
so who is
Sorry?
definitely correct?
So I think these two. Okay, so these two will be 50-50 because there's no correct, there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no right. So which mean we have been discussing about this. So which mean like we doesn't have
Wait,
any cabinet
right
whatever.
or wrong? Mr. Drax, you have your party has, or rather your coalition, have released the lines of coalition. I mean the ministers. You have released the lineup of your ministers, but you're saying no one is right, no one is wrong. So who do we trust here? There's not enough ministers, but there is, but he said, she said. So we are following the words of he said, she said. So please stop. So don't spin on this question. Don't spin on these answers. So we want to know the definitive answer. So who is correct?
That's not correct. Real. Ada yang betul, ada yang salah.
Ada yang betul, ada yang salah. So the definitive answer here. It's not. There's no one is right. So we don't know exactly for sure. Do we have enough or do we not have enough?
Berdasarkan logik, kita boleh dapatkan we could good enough if macam kita mengambil dua position. Contohnya kalau macam saya mengambil dua position dalam timbalan menteri dan juga menteri sukan. Tapi kalau saya tambah lagi, itu akan menjadi mencukupi untuk parti politik untuk mencukupi untuk membuat satu kabinet, untuk membuat parti kabinet.
So I believe we can end it from here. Mr. Drax, are you interested in ending this discussion? Yes or no? There will be no debates on this. If you want to clarify. Okay, thank you. So next question, Mr. Drax. You accused RFT, not you, but one of your members, to rather. So one of your high-ranking members, those in the your Majlis Tertinggi, I forgot personally. I apologize, but your coalition. Let us use general words here. Your party, your coalition accused RFT Alderne's government of not being able to touch on police issues, as if the government is scared to do so, by saying, and I quote, "Kerajaan sekarang macam tak boleh sentuh isu polis. Diorang macam takut." End quote. Do you realize the government has little to no control of the police? Like they do not have the big control over the national forces of our country. You may speak better.
Okay. I speak on Malay, okay? So, jadi yang cakap tu tidak betul. Dan informasi ini dari mana terdapat? Dari mana informasi ini terdapat?
Mr. Drax, let me clarify that NW has the recording of the whole press conference. Let us clarify that. So please answer truthfully. Is this information correct or not?
Okay, the information wasn't correct. Real.
Not correct, but we did hear you that we did hear one of your high-ranking members accusing kerajaan sekarang macam tak boleh sentuh isu polis. Dia orang macam takut. We even quoted this because well, your members who have just recently resigned to yesterday, because one of your members did say that we can quote this and we have the source. So what is your base that that one of your members didn't say this?
No comment.
No comment, but you did say it, and now you're challenging that fact. You're challenging NWS of that fact just yesterday, and then your members resign. He pulls that statement, but now PTA stands by its statement that it is not true. So are you challenging this, or are you simply running away from the fact that you may be wrong here?
I am wrong, so as I know, I just say no comment.
But you just said that just now it is not true.
Yeah, I know it is. I know I said like that because kesilapan.
Kesilapan. Sir, I think we are under the understanding here that you just said this like like
Okay.
15 seconds ago,
Ah,
like 13 seconds ago. This is under full consciousness.
mm,
So let us reiterate this. Let us be direct. Is this statement true or not?
this statement. Uh, True. Yes, true.
True. All right then. So we can establish that this is true, that and that you are not challenging the statement. You are not challenging the fact of the statement. So now, now that you have acknowledged this, let us go on to the main question. Do you realize the government has little powers to control the police and and also the military?
Okay, I think for military they can because military is under Yang Dipertuan Agong, as we know. But for PDRM, I think we can because PDRM is under Prime Minister. In real life lah. In real life, as I know, PDRM is under Prime Minister. But for military, for armed forces, it was under Yang Dipertuan Agong. So the things we can solve is only the problems from armed forces. I think we can do is to solve the problem from the armed forces. That's all.
So I believe what you were trying to say here is that you did recognize that the government has little to no power to control the police. Is that correct?
For control police, they have power. But for
Power,
for
but you just said but you said there were well they have
because why? Because why
you
they have
yes sir.
power? Government have power to control the police because police is under the police is under government. Is under the prime minister. So that's why government can control them. But not all government. Only prime minister can
But you
control
do
them.
realize that the police is mostly controlled by the administration, and in order for the government to do anything to the police, they have to go through the National Security Council. They have to go through the administration as well. So you recognize that. I will
I
extend
recognize
this
that.
30 seconds to give you the chance to speak.
Yes, I recognize that.
But you just said police had the power to do so. Had the power to be control over the government rather. All right then. We'll do not have
And
any further question,
you
any
have any
further
question again?
answer.
Any questions?
No, no more. All right. So I want to try to contact a BRM representative here. So let me just contact. If there is silence for the audience, we are currently trying to contact uh, the party leader of BRM. So apologies for the silence. So please wait for at least 3 minutes. Oh, I've just been contacted that BRM has withdrawn from the debate. So we cannot contact any more representatives. So that includes Haikal and Wendin. So I believe we'll have to end the debate right here. Unfortunate because we cannot properly scrutinize BRM today. So what we were going to ask BRM was what differentiates your party's past election, and will there be any differences, and whether BRM was interested in a solid party integrity compared to other parties, and then the party's involvement in BOFA's government. So unfortunately we will not be able to contact BRM. So uh, that's okay. That's okay. But everyone, that is all. But firstly, let us announce the results of who is exactly the winner of tonight's debate. So as of 9:53, there have been a total of 68 votes. So currently, PDM is leading by 57.4%. So roughly an increase of 3%. BRF 27.9%. Uh, s- a slight a slight increase of 1%, and then PTA PTA 14.7%, which has dropped by 4%, which is a massive drop. So currently BRM is currently PDM is leading right now, and BRM remains in the second runners up, and PTA simply 14%. So as of today, the people have spoke that PDM, uh, as of now, is currently leading in the winner. So right now, so let us end the program today. Mr. Yao, Mr. Drax, and those who cannot attend, Mr. Highcrawl and Mr. Gwendin, we cannot. Thank you for attending today. We very appreciate, even though I did some very hard questioning there. It is respectable and commendable that you have been able to answer these questions under pressure. It is very appreciable. So, camera, we have reached the end of our election of our NWS general election 17 general election debate live from KLCC. This is NWS Townhall 17 general election debate. We'll see you in another time.